Hey everybody, it's Dennis again. So today we're gonna talk about step 9. So in some of the steps I'll say, this isn't, don't make a big deal out of it, and this is not, don't overcomplicate it, and don't be worried about it. And I'll say, step 8, I said, it's really just a list. Don't overcomplicate it, just a list. And step 6, I'll say, just becoming entirely ready. And step 9, I'm not going to say any of that. Step 9 is not an easy step for most of us. Step 9 is actually, for me, it was the most difficult, and in most cases, the most rewarding. So in step 9, we made the list, okay? Then step 8, we made the list. Step 9, we are going to actually reach out to these people and make an amends. We are cautious on using the word apology, or because we just don't want to say I'm sorry, because we've said sorry about that. We've said I'm sorry so many times, and it really has lost any value. So we try not to say sorry. But it is, an apology. It is a sincere apology. And, if any of you out there are Catholics, the word contrition, it is about being contrite, being truly regretting what you did. So having said that, the other part of step 9 that you need to understand, and that is important, each case needs to be dealt with separately. And I mean that in a couple of different ways. In some ways, it's about timing. You don't want to, after 3 months of sobriety, jump in and tell your employer that you're now sober and you're sorry about what you did. That might take more time, and I'll tell you why. Because you have more currency, there's greater gravity in when you do a step 9 after a certain period of sobriety has gone on. If I didn't do my step 9 with my employer until 5 years of sobriety. I waited for 5 years, because then you can go in and say, listen, I've been doing this for 5 years. You don't really even worry about really. Everything's good right now, and I just want to tell you this has been on my mind. Now that's this one. Others, a formal step 9 really isn't gonna work, because of, like what I said earlier. You said, I'm sorry. Saying it again, even a little bit more fancy, and you have some time behind you, still sounds like I'm sorry. Even if you don't say I'm sorry, it still comes off that way, because with some of these, and these are usually the people that know you best, and the people that you hurt the most, and the people that are kind of fed up with you day after day after day of seeing you drunk, or what I mean, when you've just worn them out, and you've said I'm sorry so many times that it means nothing, and they're just tired of hearing that. With these people, I'm going to tell you, sometimes it just is staying sober and letting them see you are sober and responsible and can be there for them. And that is the best step 9 you'll do with these people. These are, like I said, these are often family members, your spouse, or your mother, father, or one of your children. So those are the people that you have to prove yourself to by matter of time and of sobriety. And that's a rough thing to do, but you also did the damage to these people the most, and they're the ones you probably care about and love the most. So it goes with that you're going to have to do the most, which is just stay sober and show them you're there for them. Then there's some that are a lot less a big deal, about somebody that you just want to reach out from your past, and they'll probably be understanding, and you'll say we'll talk about what you say, but you reach out to them, and it's a lot less of a big deal, and it'll probably go well, and you don't have to put that much time. You should always have some time before you do step 9. After all, it's kind of down the line of the steps, so you should have some time before you do any step 9s. Which brings me to my formula for step 9. My formula starts out with admitting that, I'm doing something about my drinking problem. I don't necessarily will come out and say, I am an alcoholic. You have to couch it in the most delicate language that is for this occasion, right? You need to use the words that are going to be the most appropriate. And so for my employer, I may have said something like, I've been doing something about my drinking problem, and I've been sober for 5 years, and so I don't necessarily come out and say I was a raging alcoholic. And so you don't need to say that. Okay, so that's the first thing you do is you kind of admit, I'm doing something about my problem, and that brings me here. And I specifically want to admit to you that I acknowledge that I did XYZ. I took advantage of, and I did this bad thing, and so that's the first. The second thing is admitting what you did. So first is I'm here because I'm an alcoholic. Number 2 is this is what I did. Again, use nice language. And then the next thing you want to say is I regret what I did, and it bothers me a lot, and I really want you to know that I do regret it, and I'm here to sort of make amends for that. Come right out and say it like that. Okay, then the next thing and the last thing that you really need to say, and this is what I'm doing so it won't happen again. Okay, so that's my little formula. I am an alcoholic. I did this thing. I am really regretting I ever did that. I am so sorry, and I'm asking for your forgiveness, or I'm trying to make an amends here. And then the last one is this is what I'm doing so it doesn't happen again. I'm going to meetings. I'm staying sober. I have a good support group. I'm really active, and I am vigilant about my drinking. It is the most important thing in the world is that I do not take a drink. Okay, so that's what I say. The only thing I'm going to also caution you with is they don't always go great. Most of the time they do. Most of mine did. They all went well, but not all. I learned the lesson on doing it too quickly and saying I'm sorry too quickly with a family member. And I said, I am really, really sorry, and I'm sober, and I've been sober for whatever time. And her response was, we already did this, Dennis. And that kind of shut me down. And that was when I realized, okay, with her, it's just going to take some time being sober. The other one was with someone that was clearly uncomfortable with what I was doing, and may have had a similar problem within herself, or a family member, or something was close to her, because it did seem like I hit a nerve. We got through it. It went okay, but I could see it was very, very uncomfortable for her. So don't necessarily plan that it's all going to go roses and candy. There's going to be some times when it doesn't go great. But that's really not the point in some of these. The point is, like I said early on, is the contrition, that you really do feel bad and you really do regret what happened. And if you could do it over again, you wouldn't, of course you would never do it. You'd do anything but that. So the contrition is really the state that you're in, and you feel bad that it all happened, and then you did your best shot here. That's it. You got to just do your best shot. If it doesn't go well, that's fine. They're marked off the list. Don't go after them again. Just let it go, and just prove to them that you're sober. And that's really the ultimate step 9 of all, is just staying sober day after day, month after month, year after year, and eventually you just sort of have the amends come through, and you find peace within yourself and with those that you love and those that are around you. Anyway, that's my step 9. I hope it helps somebody. I know this is a little bit long. This is a heavy one. This step 9 is not the easy one. And if you have any questions or wish to reach out, you know how to do that. Thanks, and I hope you have a really good day.